Here's the most common mistake I see couples make when they're trying to name their babies, and a simple solution. The mistake is they are taking on two completely separate roles. We've got one person here suggesting names, another person here shooting them down. Now, I don't want to make generalizations, but typically when I see this play out, mom is suggesting names, dad is rejecting them without bringing any of his own to the table. And it kind of makes sense, like, when you think about it. So another generalization, from the people I've talked to, a lot of women have been thinking about the names they want to give their babies since they're like 7, 8 years old. It's always been a thought in their mind. Whereas for a lot of men, they've like the idea of having babies from the time they're young, but they really never consider what they're going to call those babies until that baby is on the way. So the suggester has had 30 years of thought put into these names, whereas the rejector might have only started thinking about names 4 or 5 months ago. And when you haven't put a ton of thought into it yet, it's a lot easier to know what you don't like than what you do. But if you're the suggester, my suggestion is write down all of the names that you'd be happy to give this baby, give that list to the rejector, and say, here are the names that are at play right now. You can't cross any of these out without bringing your own to replace it. If they don't know where to start looking for names, you can send them to TikTok. There are a lot of us naming accounts. You can send them to Name Nerds on Reddit. You can send them to your family tree. You could even do something like tap into their interests. Say, hey, look to your favorite video games. See what names are showing up there. Look to your favorite sports teams. What are their names? What are their kids' names? Things like that, where it's like, okay, now they can start looking for names like in the real world and like putting real thought behind them. And it's so easy to villainize the rejectors, and I get those in my comments all the time. People are so frustrated. They're like, I have suggested over 40 names at this point. They have suggested 2. They just say they hate all of my names. They won't bring anything new to the table, and that is frustrating. And I think what happens is there's just like this paralysis that comes from making such a huge, like, important decision. And at that point, it's easy to say, no, none of these are good enough for this baby, but they can't really put their finger on what will be. And I've had people in my comments with like much more extreme situations where their partner genuinely refused to contribute even after like they tried to play that little game where like you can't reject without like replacing. And if that's the case, when it comes down to it, I would say choose 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 names and tell them it's going to be one of these. You can choose out of these 4, but you're not rejecting all of them. It's one of them. Which one do you hate the least? But I don't think that's the right move unless they're genuinely like not contributing or like not trying, which some people have said like that's the case for them.